Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to another episode of Random Wednesday. So today, rather than talk about the language, I will be talking about something related to the language. We'll be talking about the different strategies that you can use to succeed in learning Swahili. No doubt, if you follow this page, thank you very much. You are an avid language lover. So I am hoping to share some of the things that I have learned as a language learner and as a language teacher. So I have, as you might know already, I have attempted and succeeded and failed in some learning some different languages. I failed miserably in Chinese and French, but it seems like I'm succeeding in Spanish. I am very excited about that, but it's not yet been verified by Spanish speakers, so let's not take me for my word yet. However, I noticed that in languages that I succeeded, there are things that I was doing, and also I've noticed among my students, those who are succeeding, there are few things that are consistent in terms of what they're doing to help them make progress. So I hope you find this episode useful and applicable for you. I will talk to you again soon. All right, so I created a little acronym called CAP to help me and my students remember things that they should do every day to help them succeed in learning the language. So what does CAP stand for? It stands for consistency, accountability, and practice. So we're going to be talking about the three of those individually quickly, and so that you can see if any of this would be useful for you. So consistency, what does this mean? This means that you are regular at doing what you're supposed to do. You are regular at the commitment that you have made in learning Swahili in this case. So usually when people start learning a new language, what do they want to do? They want to cram like hours of study at the same time, and they feel like if I don't do 2 or 3 hours of learning, then I didn't do anything. And then by day 2, they are so tired, or they no longer want to see that language because of how much they burnt themselves out the previous day. So consistency means pacing yourself, because trust me, this is a marathon. You know, they say it takes about 6 to 7 years of continuous and consistent work to get fluent in a language. So if you do 2-3 hours, you won't go very far. My usual suggestion is just do 15 minutes max every day. 15 minutes. And if you don't have 15 minutes, let's make it 5 minutes. Because what that will do, it'll just keep working on the pathways of learning the language. So 15 minutes a day. And then another thing that you can do is make sure you're doing different things. So if today, let's say you did grammar, tomorrow you can say I'm going to listen to something in that particular language. So pull a YouTube thing or audio publications, or listen to something, just to make sure that your brain is consistently hearing the language. And then another thing you can do to make sure you're doing it consistently is to make sure you have a particular spot in your house that when you go there, you know that you're actually about to study a language. So consistency. Do it short periods of time, but every single day. If you have to skip a day, great. I'd rather not, but try to keep it on a daily basis, okay? No 1-hour study sessions. Those are not sustainable. Number 2, accountability. We all know that we need to be held responsible. You can hold yourself responsible when you're learning a new language by doing what? By letting people know what you're doing. So for me, I have a friend who's studying Spanish with me. So we have our study sessions. We just talk almost every other day. And then on days that I'm not talking to her, I'll make sure that I'll call people up who speak Spanish and just say a word or two. Another thing what I'll do is I will try to make sure that I have a journal. So I'll just write things down just to make sure that I have held myself accountable and I've actually studied the language. But one of the things that I found even more powerful is apps Right now, I'm using an app called Commit to 3. It makes you, or it challenges you to commit yourself to 3 important things. So one of the things that I usually put in there is Spanish, so that when I'm trying to go to sleep and I look at my app and I don't have Spanish checked, I feel awful. So I will get out of bed or just do something briefly in Spanish to make sure I did that. So that app is called Commit to 3. You can look it up. It's in your app store if that is your type of thing, because most of us like checking off boxes, right? So that is accountability for you. Find a study partner. For my students at Learn Swahili Now, you have that community where you can go and find somebody that you can practice with. I really encourage you to do that. Find like-minded people. And since you're on this Instagram page, that means you are among people who already want to learn Swahili. You can ask for somebody who wants to study the language with you. That would make your life so much easier. So that is accountability. And the third one, which stands for the P, it is practice, practice, practice. I know you can't go to a Swahili speaking country and therefore make yourself have that immersion, but you can give yourself an artificial immersion. One advantage about the Swahili language is that it's very phonetic. That means if you can read it, you can probably pronounce it properly. So the more you hear and the more you attempt the pronunciation, the more likely you are to make progress. One of the biggest things I usually suggest to my students, as soon as you learn new vocabulary, do not just learn it in a vacuum. Try to use it immediately. Call somebody up who speaks Swahili and say, hey, I'd like to practice ABCD with you. Can I say 1, 2, 3 or hujambo or whatever it is you want to say? Promise you, most people will not mind. I am assuming that most of you are learning Swahili because either you know Swahili speaking people or you want to go to a Swahili speaking country at some point. So I have no doubt that you actually have somebody in your phone that speaks Swahili. Send them WhatsApp voice messages, and just say, hey, I'd like to practice my Swahili. Tell me if you understand me. And just do a voice message and have them tell you and send a voice message back. And that way you're exercising both your listening and your speaking. All right. And like I'd mentioned earlier, if you journal, try to journal in your target language. It might be crazy, but you're forcing your mind and you're forcing your mouth to and your hands to engage. You're engaging all the senses in learning this language. So to reiterate, we have CAP. Consistency, short bursts of time, same place to study every time. And then we have accountability. Find a study practice person. Come to sites like this. Of course, I'm going to plug LSN because we offer that particular opportunity once you sign up for any course. And then practice, 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 because practice makes perfect. And perfect practice makes even more perfect. Yes. So I hope you found this episode useful, and if you have any questions, if you would like to join the LSN community, you are welcome to send me a DM and I'll be very, very happy to answer any questions you might have. I will talk to you again on Grammar Monday.